artist with autism and ADHD sucks. Hey, I'm Shawn. As long as I can remember, I've been an artist. As soon as I was able to pick up a pencil or a crayon, I was coloring and drawing. As you can probably tell, I kind of grew up different from other kids. So I really didn't play sports. I wasn't really into, you know, sports or going outside a whole lot. Wasn't really my jam. So I kind of stayed in, colored and drew and just created what I could create. As far back as I can remember, I always had a very vivid imagination. I could remember laying in bed at night and just creating stories in my head and coming up with all these scenarios and characters and all this craziness. And growing up, I just kind of figured, well, that's just whatever. Um, but as I got older and I continued down the artist path, um, things got a little strange for me. I always wanted to create, but it was always weird because I would have these ideas, but I would have so many ideas I couldn't get them all out. Um, so I would start something, and then before I even was able to finish it, I'd start something else, and I'd start something else, and then something else wouldn't be just right, so I'd abandon it and I'd start something different. I always had trouble finishing projects, finishing paintings or drawings, and it was actually kind of rare that I finished a drawing or a painting. I mean, 40, and I could probably look back at all of my sketchbooks through all of my growing up, and I don't think I have one completed. Um, and I just kind of figured that was the way, kind of normal. A lot of artists talk about that, just kind of cycle through different sketchbooks and different eras and different styles, and that was just kind of how I was. Um, and then a couple of years ago, I went and ended up getting diagnosed with autism and ADHD and a few other things, but it all kind of made sense because with just autism, you kind of you want routine, you want specific things laid out, and start to finish, you can kind of get there. You throw ADHD in there, and you have a lot of side quests going on. So you'll start here, and then by the time you try to get here, you've got 20 other different roads that you kind of explored. And so that made a whole lot of sense. So growing up, trying to find a career path in art was always difficult because I was good at drawing and relatively decent at painting and very good at coming up with ideas, and my mind's always thinking. It's constantly thinking and racing, a million different thoughts, a million different ways of doing things, and never fully settling on just one way. So it's difficult to pick a path and stick to it. I did fine arts, I did photography, I did videography, I did graphic design, 3D animation, web design. All of this was in a relatively short period of time, and I was good, relatively decent at most of it. Um, I was able to catch on to most of it pretty quickly, but I lost interest in most of it very quickly also. Not because, you know, not because I didn't like it in particular, just I found something else that was shiny, I guess. Um, so like, I'd be drawing and then I'd see some paints and I'd be like, oh, let's try some painting. I even tried mixed media for a while because I thought, oh, maybe that'll work. And that didn't work because then that got too messy and too, too, too much going on. And then which makes sense with. So it's like constant battling inside of my head, whether I want things rigid and straightforward and very precise and thought out? Or do I want chaos on paper and just kind of let it all go? And so I'm still trying to find that balance. So if you follow along on this channel, you're probably going to see both. You're probably going to see some very straightforward, simple drawings or sketches, and then some abstract craziness that I just gotta kind of get out there. So I hope you stick around and subscribe and watch the journey because I think that this is kind of going to be the good fit for me, right? Um, I've never, being honest, I've never been able to find a career path or a job that was very well suited for me. So I always wanted to have my own business and own company. I, I, I started a couple, um, along the creative path. I mentioned all the drawing and the painting and also, but I also did woodworking and I made signs. Um, and that was very, you know, sh- straightforward and very production line type. But then that got too mundane. So again, it's the constant battle of which one is better. Is it the production line, assembly line? You know, like same thing every day or craziness all the time. And it's a very tight line that I've got to figure out how to walk. And I think between this channel and exploring my own creativity and my own mind, it'd be interesting to document down here and, you know, look back and kind of see where things started and hopefully where they blossom and progress into something that I can be proud of and that I can be happy with. Like I said, I'm 40. I'm right in that middle of like, don't know quite what I want to do, and I better figure it out quickly. So, again, hopefully you'll subscribe and stick around. And if you want any other information about being on the spectrum or ADHD or any other kind of things like that, I'd be willing to share. Just comment below, ask away, and I can kind of make another video later on if you want, or just follow along for some sketches, paintings, digital art, and an occasional, photography, videography, short here or there, because those are fun to do. So thanks for watching, and hopefully, subscribe, like the video, and stick around. See you on the next one. Bye.